an uneducated situation of what this is about. One of the reasons why we welcome, and I said thank you, to allow, many people are frightened and scared. I mean, that's I think is the underlying that happens in our culture, in our community. I look at you don't get a get out of jail free pass. People don't understand that who you are, from the way I look at it, has been trapped inside since you were born, trying to get out. And then you got a whole society out here saying, no, you're not supposed to do it. Push you back in, get out of here.
We don't
and the worst people of all wear one of these, a collar, and carry this cross around and saying that that you're an abomination, what you're doing is wrong. And that is and that does nothing but foster more ignorance and talk about scared and hurting situations. When number one, the law has yet not totally protected you. The church has basically condemned you in all your aspects. So maybe we're starting to be enlightened. Go ahead. No.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to live and be a member of a community that doesn't really let you be a citizen fully. Kind of. It's a case of being a second-class citizen, 100%. It's like they'll kind of let you coexist, but they don't really want you to be equal to them or be able to have...
the African-American culture,
yeah, in the
especially
60s,
Civil War times. You could own property, or you but don't interfere with our legislation or policy or politics.
And a lot of time it's about how well you can fit in with normal society, and it's just like, it's not a matter of that. Like, there's a gray scale of sexuality with everyone, and same with being transgendered, and you don't have to fit into one little cube of femininity. And
right. Likely there are relatively few pure Kinsey zeros out there, like you said, and people generally fall into the mix. The problem is with a lot of males, they're so ingrained that you have to be completely and totally heterosexual that if they become attracted to a transsexual woman and find out she's transsexual, then suddenly they're afraid they're gay.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's where some of the anger can come, and that makes things somewhat complicated for us.
Yeah, and then on the other end of the spectrum, there's like people who kind of chase after us and think of this as some kind of like
exotic,
like fetish type thing, and it's just like a plaything, basically. It's something to get feel dirty with and whatnot. It's just like, that's not a fair. Yeah, and that's not a fair relationship style to basically use someone for your fantasy when you don't really respect them as a person or really even fully understand who they are.
Right, because it does get down to how they view you. Do they view you as a woman or an it?
Yeah, do they view you as a woman or a guy in a dress? And it's just like, this is how we go to the bank. This
is education. This is how we get brought up, how we get trained, what education we get in school. It starts real young. I mean, you're supposed to be attracted to females. You're supposed to be this, and that's it. The fear ends up on both sides, especially with not understanding anything. I mean, the true freedom comes in educating yourself and to understand. The community needs to be educated. The fear, we have a community that runs on fear in everything we do. Racism, war, the system frightens everybody, and it stems from the time where very, very young and go to school and learn whatever our religious persuasion is. We pick up these things, and if you're different, you frighten people.
But the whole thing to that is everybody's different. Every single person is a unique person. So to say to be like me. It's like, well, what do you like, you know? You can't really put a label on anyone in any kind of situation. You need to realize that everyone has their uniqueness, and if you didn't, we'd be a bunch of ants in an ant colony.
How difficult is it for someone who's transgendered to approach clergy to get married? Should you happen to find a normal man who will accept you and love you?
Right. So I
already did that again.
Well, we got through the difficulty of going to...
Now he's not normal, right?
I don't know that any of us have tried.
Yeah.
No,
Really?
a little bit of fear.
I would imagine, I mean, it's just part of the whole idea of being females is just this innate thing where you want to get married, and it's that drive that just, it's like, you can't rip it out. It's there.
It's absolutely there. I so want to be married, but that sort of involves finding a man. Right. Which I'm working on. But yeah, there is a very definite need to be with someone and to be married.
So the other side of the coin is if you're having struggles with employment, you're having struggles with relationships, and a lot of these natural drives that we all have, that I would imagine for you feel kind of hopeless and unattainable.
Kind of suppressed, even.
What's the psychiatric, I mean, and I'm not talking about the psychiatric as far as evaluating you, but the psychiatric repercussions of, you know, depression and anxiety.
Right.
It's really hard.
The statistics you always hear in our community is that half of us don't live to 40. There is just an atrocious suicide rate. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
And I cry a lot over that.
Sure. And I would imagine a lot of that, it just seems so preventable. It's all based on social interaction and culture and acceptance and love and,
yeah.
You know.
Love is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard because certainly once you transition, it's a lot easier to be happy. And you know, I spent most of my life being totally miserable, and as difficult as what we have now, and as difficult as our lives are, I am an extremely happy person now, and infinitely happier than I was. But just getting here is tough.
It's really tough.
And for somebody that's at the beginning of the journey like you, it's you know, it's tough.
I've been transitioning since my junior year of high school. As far as I know, I was the first open trans person at my school, and I've been wanting to get on hormones for like 5 years now. But it's just like, it's expensive, and it's really tough to get on hormones, and like a lot of trans people turn to illegal other options like getting street hormones or...
That's very easy to do.
And it's dangerous.
It's a dangerous
to
thing.
self-medicate.
It's very dangerous.
You expose yourself to, with long-term high-dose hormone therapy, you run the risk of clots, of pulmonary embolism. Your blood pressure can spike.
Yeah.
So you can have problems there. So high blood pressure would clearly counterindicate hormones, I think. I'm not a doctor. But yeah, so people can really give themselves some trouble.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the hormones that are on the street are not the same purity and
Well, you just don't know.
you don't know. Yeah.
They could be, they couldn't be, they could be laced with
Something totally
something.
different, yeah.
Yeah, it's really it's easy to get hormones, you know, with the internet now. It's very easy to do.
It's very easy, but
It's self-medication is very dangerous, and certainly we don't recommend that.
No.
It happens a lot.
because you feel, I've been tempted myself, because just low income kind of a thing, it's just like, you kind of feel trapped. You're like, I really feel the need, like, I feel the testosterone kind of ravaging my body kind of a thing and progressing, and it's just like, you feel that need to finally get, like, estrogen, and, you know, and it's just, sometimes it's just not an option, and it's frustrating, which is probably another reason a lot of transgendered people suffer from a lot of depression, is like, you're born into this body that may be perceived as male, when up here it's all female, and it's just very frustrating to kind of deal with that every day and wake up and be like, almost everyone else was born right into the niche they were supposed to fit into, and we spend a lot of our life through money and mental growth like trying to physically achieve